welcome back to my channel. I'm Son. It's not my real name, but for the purpose of this channel, it is. My real name is Sondre. So it's been about 4 weeks now, I think, since I uploaded the last video. And so today I just want to give a brief update. When I look here on my phone, I will upload the picture, a screenshot, as well with the video here, so that you all can see. But when I gave my last update, things were very positive. I think they still are. They still are positive. I'm still in an uptrend, but so the thing I wanted to address in this video is that even though sometimes even though we are in an uptrend, it doesn't mean that things cannot fluctuate a lot. And I'm not just talking on the the weekly or the daily, but even on the monthly. So what I am experiencing now is that if I look at the picture again, it shows the step count on a weekly time frame. And so you can obviously see that between the 8th and the 14th of June, I hit my current peak, my current high. And I did end up on almost 20,000, or it was in fact 20,000 steps for that week, which is the highest number that I've had in the last 3 years. But and that's positive. It's positive that my body was able to do that, obviously. But the risk with this condition is that when you have a good week, it's very easy to do a little too much. So that's why it's so important that you pace yourself, even when you feel better, because there can be an immune reaction afterwards, and that will again exacerbate some of the symptoms. So it's not unusual to have a bit of a dip afterwards. After that, you increase your activity, and especially if you reach a new high, which I happen to do. So as you can also see, I've just been dropping, not like dramatically, but certainly I've not been able to maintain the activity level that I had on that week from the 8th to the 14th. And of course, steps do not account for everything, because as we know, when it comes to activity, it's a lot more that goes into that than just steps alone. But I still think counting steps is a useful indicator in order to determine sort of where you are at when it comes to this condition, because walking is, it's the most human activity you can pretty much do. So how much you can walk does give a reference when it comes to telling where you're at health-wise. So I think it's a useful parameter, and I do use it a lot. So what you can clearly see is there is a drop. It's not dramatic, but I think it's about 25% to 30% drop in my overall activity level. Maybe not from the high, that is. So it's a drop by 30%, and that's only counting the steps. And there certainly is a drop as far as other types of activity go as well. And alongside this drop, there has been, and this is maybe the most important indicator that you can use, is your own body and the signals and cues that it gives to you. And in my case, after this high, I've been feeling more fatigued, significant increased need for rest. Sometimes I've been sleeping longer. I've needed to take days where I've been just laying flat for like 8 hours straight, pretty much. Activities that I have been able to do without feeling that much fatigue have all of a sudden caused me fatigue, and I found it more difficult. Examples being standing next to the stove in my kitchen here as I'm cooking, for example, and just an overall need for rest. I haven't had any really dramatic symptoms, so that is a good sign because it means this is not a crash. But the point is, and the thing I wanted to talk about in this video is that it's really important to determine where you are, and you need to take several things into account. So counting steps can be one way of doing that. Some people find it useful to monitor their heart rate, for example, to see how it changes over time. It can be another indicator. And the most important is probably your own body. How is your sleep? Do you need more sleep than before? Do you need more rest? How does it feel to do certain things? Do you feel like you're on the up, or do you feel like things are going down, a bit downhill again? So for me, it's not abnormal to have a bit of a drop after I have had a period of increase. It's happened consistently over the last 2 years as I've been managing my condition better after dealing with this for several years now. So I don't think this is anything dramatic. It's just I just need to be patient, spend more time at home, take more rest, do more easy activities. Just try to keep myself, entertain myself. Although I'm sitting upright now because I'm not feeling too shabby right now, it doesn't mean that I'm sitting upright most of the day. I'm not. I still have to lay down most of the day, especially now that I'm in a bit of a drop. So I just try to keep my mind busy, watch things, use whatever medium of entertainment you can just to get through the days. And then if my assumption is correct, based on my past experience, my energy level should start to pick up at some point. I should hit a sort of a bottom and it should start to go up again, and hopefully to even higher levels. That's sort of been the way things have been panning out over the last 2 years now. It goes kind of like this. So you have to be aware of, I just call them macro fluctuations if you if you want to use a term, because you kind of need, you kind of should use the data here. I find it useful, at least. Some people don't like to do it, but I like to track things. And so I've certainly noticed patterns, having, collect the data on my step counts and all these other things for several years now. So I can certainly see that there is the macro fluctuations, but also on the micro. So even like from day to day, there can be fluctuations, but also on the macro, meaning from month to month or even. So now it's obviously for the last 4 weeks, I'm dropping after hitting a high around 8th to the 14th of June. So that was obviously high, and I've been just dropping since then. And things have felt more tiring. I've been having a lot more exhaustion and fatigue. But it's about not being fearful about it, because you just need to realize that this doesn't have to be a crash. Things fluctuate even when you don't crash. And I know if it's a crash, it's far worse. It's not just some drop in, energy levels. It's a lot more than that. So I'm at ease, and I trust the process at this moment. So you just have to realize that this is completely normal, and there will be changes. The most important thing, again, is to just be able to see that you've lost your momentum and you need to take more rest, and then you can be a little proactive with it, so you don't push. Because the last thing you want to do when your body is telling you it's tired, it needs more rest, is to push against it. That's the dumbest thing you can do, because then you are just going to exacerbate things, and then you can really get into a bad crash, and things can get really, really ugly. So and I've experienced that too many times to count. And I wish I knew what I know now earlier, because then with such a good pacing that I've been doing in the last 2 years. If I did this earlier in the disease process, certainly my outcome could have changed a lot. But it is what it is. At least I'm seeing, some progress. But you know how it is. ME is a really nasty disease, and even though I've made some progress over the last 2 years here, doesn't take more than one really bad crash and you can actually go all the way back down. So this requires constant management, and most people who are healthy, they have no idea how lucky they are not having to deal with this, because it's like I'm telling people, they don't understand it, but it is like playing chess with your own body at all time. It is you need to constantly make these assessments on the macro, as I call it, the bigger time frame, and on the lower time frame, what you can do and what you cannot. And the most important thing is to always keep a certain margin. You want to have a good margin. Don't ride the edge, because it's just too risky. It's not worth it. You have to stay somewhat comfortably within your limits. And but fluctuations will still happen, and as long as they are not they're not severe enough to be crashes, it can be okay. It shouldn't, like, in the long run, you should be able to at least stabilize and hopefully be able to regain some functioning over time. So yeah, that's just my update as of today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.